Get that camera off me.
Are you allowed to catch pigeon?
When first down steps.
Some people love it, some people hate it.
I think you all know who I am.
Acca is just full of birds, like
sweaty little gurners. It's all this nightclub in Britain, like you can't not go. It's an experience.
The Acapulco, Britain's oldest nightclub. Now I know it might not look like much, but in an industry where businesses come and go, sticking around for almost 70 years is definitely somewhat of an achievement. Somehow it's managed to survive countless recessions, a pandemic and even a huge fire. And not only is it the oldest nightclub in the country, but I can guarantee it also has the cheapest drinks in the country. At 75p a drink before 11, it's totally unheard of these days when you need to remortgage your house to have a few pints in London. But that shit. Here, in the wild west of Yorkshire at the Acapulco Halifax, you can get positively spangled with the likes of Katie and Harvey Price for just a tenner. It really is the land of dreams. I mean, £10 to make an absolute tit of yourself dancing to the cheesiest music known to man, and then having change to buy one of Dixie Chicken's finest pigeon beak burgers after you call it a night. What's not to love? Well, it turns out quite a lot. The Acapulco is a bit of a contentious issue in Halifax, with some people who strongly dislike the place and would rather see it closed down, as you'll soon see.
it is a fucking shit-up.
But first, who the f*** am I to tell this story? My days in the Aca started back in 2008 when I thought it was acceptable to dress like a f***ing fairy. After spending too long straightening my hair with mini GHDs, it was time to hit the town, and the first stop was always the Aca. We used to call it the power hour. We'd rock up about 10 PM, order 10 sambucas, nick them one by one, and then be done for the rest of the night without needing to spend another dime. The problem was that we wouldn't really remember the rest of the night and would oftentimes wake up without a clue how we got home and a missing phone. But this is the way. Going out and getting so uncontrollably pissed at the Aca is somewhat of a coming of age ceremony in Halifax. Us Halifax folk have all got our embarrassing stories from those days, and many of them, especially the ones in the alleyway behind, are better never to be shared. These days, my nights in the Aca are just a distant fond memory. For the last 7 years I've been living out in Southeast Asia making documentaries about the culture. Ooh, get you. So a few days before I headed home for a 2-week visit, I had an idea to make a video about the mighty Acapulco. To get the ball rolling, I made a post in a local Facebook group. I asked people if they had any interesting stories or opinions about the Aca. Ignore the mess behind me, but yeah, the post has attracted a lot of interest. Got about 750 comments now. It's amazing to see that everyone in Halifax seems to have an opinion on the Aca. It's a lot of people calling it an eyesore, saying it's disgusting, people saying how brutal the bouncers are. Well, I've got to say I've got a bit of a notorious reputation. I mean, even I'm well aware of the reputation that the Aca bouncers have.
I thought it was a dive, and I still do. I find the beer like piss, and the staff ignorant, and the bouncers are violent.
Bouncers throwing people down the stairs out the back, leaving them covered in blood. Seen that a few times.
I've been thrown down them stairs a few times. Also caught with a few grannies there as well. Happy days.
I went there once, like 5 years ago. I had a sticky carpet and the awful smell. It made me want to throw up.
Pride of Halifax. It's an eyesore and needs razing to the ground. Then disinfect the ground.
The hemorrhoid of Halifax, more like.
These negative comments went on and on, but there was actually a few people who had good things to say too.
People may not the Aca, but it's outlived many a posh place.
Oh my god, I love this. Met me, you'll be there. Been married 28 years.
I met my third husband there.
Met my husband there 41 years ago.
Lost my virginity there. Happy to chat about it. Not a very long story, to be fair. Probably take up a minute and a half of your time. Same amount of time it took me.
So yeah, it's a wide variety of comments. A lot of people saying how much they love it, a lot of people saying they despise it. Very divisive issue in Halifax, and I'm looking forward to getting to the bottom of it. There was one more unusual thing worth mentioning that so many people commented about. Over the past few decades, people have said that there's been times where somebody's taken a shit right out in the middle of the dance floor.
There was the phantom shitter who would regularly leave a turd on the dance floor, pretty much summed up the place.
Someone had a shit on the dance floor once.
How about someone having a poo on dance floor and it had to be evacuated?
Nobody seems to know who this phantom shitter is. Some people are saying it's a bloke, some people are saying it's a woman. I think I've got to get to the bottom of who the phantom shitter is. This is a mystery that needs solving. I've just got the small matter of travelling a few thousand miles now to go speak to the management, bar staff, and to speak to the people of Halifax and see how they feel about the Acca. Yeah, let's go. On the journey back, I started to feel a little strange and got a massive painful red rash on my arse cheek.
You think I'm gonna die?
I didn't know what the f was going on with me, but kept on filming anyway, especially because Sophie loved it so much.
Yeah, we're back in England.
I'm actually buzzing.
Hey, why are you buzzing?
Everything's just making me happy. I just saw Henry the Hoover.
Don't get that in, Bartley.
We finally arrived back in the glorious valleys of my hometown and set up base in an Airbnb we'd rented out in Hebden Bridge.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's well cute.
Cute little kitchen. DVDs. Hebden Bridge.
Hebden Bridge is a quirky place on the outskirts of Halifax, known as the lesbian capital of the UK. But that's a story for another day. For now, my rash started getting worse and I felt like absolute dog meat.
My ass is killing, man.
My lightning fast GP said they could fit me in for an appointment at some time around the year 2027, so I thought it was probably best I just went straight to hospital.
So one of the first things I was meant to do when I got back was go to the Acapulco. Well, it turns out I've actually got a bad case of shingles. As soon as I'm better though, I'm going to the Acca and I'm getting this documentary made. That is my f***ing goal. Not the return home that I was actually hoping for, but what can you do?
I finally stopped being a pussy and manned up and headed into the beautiful streets of my hometown, Halifax. Nestled amongst the hills of West Yorkshire in the north of England, Halifax is actually quite an interesting place. People from this region of England are often portrayed in the media as not exactly being the most civilised and having quite an uncouth way of talking.
The name's George Whitebread. I'm a Yorkshireman, plain speaking. I say what I like and I like what I bloody well say. Hey up, son, you'll never play for Yorkshire. No offence.
But if one thing's for sure, it's that we're fiercely proud of our county.
Because here, we make more than just tea. We make proper brews. Brews that bring a tear to your eye and warmth to your soul.
Just like many of the working class towns in the north of England, in the past, Halifax experienced a great amount of prosperity. Not only from the 2009 MCAT revolution, but also from the 19th century Industrial Revolution. Many grand buildings like the Town Hall were built during this period as the early industrialists began to splash the cash.
It has such a rich history, with all the mills and the fancy architecture, the market.
However, as the 1900s wore on, many of the huge mills began to close and Halifax entered a post-industrial decline due to competition from lower labour costs in Asian countries.
They took our jobs!
Many cheap tacky buildings were built during these years in a feeble attempt to combat the decline.
This is the thing with Halifax, there's loads of beautiful architecture, but also a lot of like shit from the 70s.
This was around the era I grew up in the town. There seemed to be very little development, and our biggest cultural attraction was the unprecedented amount of chavs necking cheap cider at bus stops.
It's fucking white lightning. 7.5%, mate. I'm going to be buzzing off my tits.
Everyone moaned about Halifax, and it seemed like the town was destined to become a shithole. However, after decades of relative stagnation, Halifax has actually undergone somewhat of a cultural renaissance in recent years. Huge investments in the town, such as the revitalisation of the 17th century Peace Hall, has attracted global music artists such as Sting and Limp Bizkit.
I can't believe how busy the Peace Hall is. There's people here from all over the country.
National media have hailed it as the best gig venue in the UK, and its popularity is helping to develop a positive reputation for the town, which actually feels quite strange.
It feels like Halifax is like two different towns now. You've got all the old, kind of dilapidated buildings, and you've got the new Peace Hall and Westgate Arcade, which is so posh and fancy.
But it's not all glitz and glam. Parts of the town remain hugely neglected, and there's plenty more work to do. There's one particular relic from the stagnant past which still stands proud today, having not changed much since the 1960s. Does the Acapulco have a place in the modern day Halifax? I think it's time to ask the people of the town what they think.
Love is in the air.
Oh, sis, get that camera off me.
Are you from Halifax?
Yes, we are born and bred. Born and bred.
Do you like living in Halifax?
I like living in Halifax. Kind, genuine people.
Halifax is interesting. Once your kids are born and they've kicked school, you travel. You can't do all this nomadic stuff like you do, where you just, work there for a bit. I'll dodge certain tax laws in this other country and go out there.
Don't know what you're on about, mate. I work at Team Search, mate.
Are you still working there?
Yeah, still working. Just grafting, mate, grafting.
Love is in the air.
Well, tough shit, you're interviewing now. What were you saying about Halifax, mate?
Great.
Where do you learn a box like that, mate?
Pub on almost every corner, nightclubs all around, and we've been serving the people of Halifax for 30 plus years.
What state are they in when they leave the Acapulco?
Not a good state.
Yeah, it's got a good nightlife. 75p drinks, get yourself to Acapulco.
What memories do you have of being in the Aca?
Oh God, I don't remember anything.
We absolutely smashed off a fiver. 100%.
Brilliant atmosphere and a good night out.
When the dance and all that.
It's full of
My first blood job.
Come to Acapulco, come on.
Okay, shit!
Whoa.
You get sucked up for?
When was the last time you went?
About 6 years ago.
Did you have a good time?
I won't even go there if you pay me.
Yeah, I did have a good time.
But when I was 17, I used to go out with women that were like 27, 26 with the grandma's tree. Because I was on you. So we used to call it Grandma Granny night.
How many grannies did you get in your day?
He's still got him in basement, eh?
He's still going, is it? Joseph Fritzl
he's
style?
got him in basement, still in suitcases. Look, granny.
She's an Aca slapper.
What's an Aca slapper?
That's it there. No, basically they give out t-shirts for people who dance here. It's got Aca slapper on it. And you can get 3 bottles of champagne.
Have you all got one of them t-shirts?
Yeah. No, so I'm definitely not an Aca slapper. We have.
Alright.
Yeah, we have.
I'll take a picture of your pigeon.
Got mates. It's wild.
Where did you find it?
I caught it with my own bare hands.
Are you allowed to catch pigeons?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I just pound it.
Okay, see you later, pal.
To be quite honest, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this, but it's a shit up.
It's a shit up?
It is a f***ing shit up.
Do we're just smartening up a bit. It's looking a bit tired.
So do not have an argument with any of the bouncers because they have a very bad reputation. My mate Connor last week, unfortunately, he went for his first down steps, and obviously, so according to the bouncers, he tripped. But
a lot of people call it shithole. What do you say to them?
Well, I agree with him. Yeah, to a certain extent I agree, but it's what makes it the Aca. You can't move the Aca and put the Aca somewhere else. No. It's going to be the Aca. No, exactly.
It's funny how everyone has an opinion on the Acapulco. Some people love it, some people hate it. Everyone's got an opinion though.
There was one pressing question remaining that needed to be answered.
Have you heard of the Phantom Shitter? Have you heard of this Phantom Shitter? Have you heard about the legend of the Phantom Shitter? Apparently over the last few decades, on numerous occasions, somebody's taken a massive dump on middle of dance floor. Nobody seems to know what it is.
I reckon it's him.
Somebody's taken a shit on dance floor. Is it you?
Look at him pulling his pants down.
Yeah, that's you telling.
I've seen certain Super League localised players doing that.
Doing what?
Phantom defecation.
You know him?
I definitely heard him.
I've
heard him.
You know what? And do you know where his been?
Where else?
He's been in prison.
The Phantom Shitter's been in prison?
He's done it in the showers in the prison. And my daughter's life, I'm not joking to you.
So have you met the Phantom Shitter?
I've seen him, yeah.
What does he look like?
Do a DNA test on it. He's mixed race, I think. Have you ever heard of any Phantom Shitter lately? No.
Maybe he's gone underground.
Yeah.
He's in hiding.
That's where he came from.
Interpol's after him, aren't
from
they?
the underground. The Phantom Papa.
The glorious folks of Halifax never disappoint. I f***ing love this town, man. But the mood changed later that night when I received a strange text message during my evening doomscroll session. Who the f*** was this? Not knowing whether this was a joke or not, I decided to call the owner of the Acapulco to see if the rumours were true.
He is real, unfortunately. First time ever we found a sample, shall we say, on the dance floor. Unfortunately, he never got prosecuted and the police didn't think it was a real crime. But it stinks to me.
After mentally preparing myself the next day, I headed to the abandoned brickworks in search of the Phantom Shitter.
Hello.
Alright, mate.
Alright, you?
Yeah, man. Why have you asked me here today?
So I heard about your little documentary you're making. I want people to know the truth. I think you all know who I am. I'm that person that everyone knows, but they don't really know. There's been tales as old as time. Robin Hood, Guy Fawkes, people that are put on a pedestal. I've always wanted to be that. I wanted to be a legend in his own right. I'm the Phantom Shitter. I'm the dance floor dropper. I'm the brown bandit. I'm a native to these lands. Grew up around the North Halifax area, Lingua Hollingdon, Mixenden. Life in those areas, you know, it's a struggle. It's a struggle out there. Left behind, the forgotten generation. Acapulco. It's the pinnacle of the Halifax nightlife scene. Doing something as dangerous as what I do in a place like that, there's no bigger thrill.
And how many times have you dropped a load in Acapulco?
I mean, how many cups of tea have you had? I've recently been diagnosed, actually, with obsessive compulsive pooing disorder. Statistically, it affects 1 in 100, but I'm the anomaly. First time, I think it was the summer of '09. I'll get creative. Sometimes I'll go for a full slap up curry, you know, poppadoms, pickle tray, samosas, get it in there. Indian's a good one because you know that it's going to come out fast. It's coming out fast and strong. I'll enter the establishment. I'll maybe have a cigarette or two. It helps, you know, helps get things moving sometimes. The right time usually would be a hands in the air type song, you know. I always like to time it with the drop. I feel like that's when I get the biggest thrill. Got to tie my shoelace, pop the squat, out it flies, stood back up, and I'm off. You know, it's the blink of an eye. It's people don't even know what's happened until, you know, it's over too late. People chase adrenaline, people jump out of planes, people bungee jump, running ultra marathons, but they'll never know the thrill. No one knows where it came from, no one knows who did it, but I do. And that's what I'm in it for. People know me for the Phantom Shitter of the Acapulco. It's bigger than that. I've got bigger fish in the fryer. Peace Hall, Northbridge Leisure Centre, Charlie Fast Tracks, you name it. I've done it. I feel like I'm getting hunted sometimes by the media, but they'll never catch me. I'm the Phantom Shitter. I can't be caught.
Well, now that mystery was put to rest, it was finally time to go to the Acapulco and speak to the staff about the club.
Peace.
The Acca is notorious around the country. It's the oldest nightclub in the country, opening in 1961. It's had the same name ever since then. And, you know, there's people all around the world, when we go to an expensive club somewhere and say, oh, my hometown was a nightclub and it's 75p drinks before 11.
Yeah, I know, I've said that.
I've got a little work jump for that, so I bring it around everywhere. Representing anywhere. I'll go to Ibiza and I'll be like, yeah, Acapulco for the win. I've brought a few mates from London. They've actually enjoyed it. They were more shocked about the prices. They've never ever seen anything so cheap.
Selling drinks at 75p is probably the hardest bit of my job. It's playing suppliers off against each other, working deals with drinks manufacturers. Currently, there's a cost of living crisis. Everything's going up, but we don't want to. We want to keep everybody having value for money and being able to come out and have a night out, even on a limited budget.
I think yesterday I had someone order like 15 shots of Sambuca or something, and I watched him I lined them all up on the bar frame and I watched him do every single one. I was like, what? And he wasn't even gipping or anything. I was like, wow.
What was it like a few hours later on? Did you see him?
No, I didn't see him after that.
Probably in hospital now.
I know, I hope he went home.
To get a better understanding of the history of the Acapulco, I had a word with the long-term owner, Simon Jackson.
The person that opened it originally in the 1960s was Ted Terzak. He was the father. He ran it into the very late 70s, maybe the early 80s, and then the two sons took it over, Chris and Ches Terzak. First time I came to work in Acapulco was in the 1980s. The club was a lot smaller back then, about half the size, and I used to just do the odd night to fill in for the DJ. Eventually, when this came up for sale, I thought, well, I've worked for three nightclubs in the town, and all three have been the busiest they've ever been. So it was a long gamble, and I thought I can do it one more time. And I did. Here we are now.
It's a place where people have met in the past and still meet now. So many people meet online, and it's nice for people to actually meet people in real life like they did in the old days.
You'll meet people tonight whose parents first met in here, and quite a few grandparents met in here.
We're having a good laugh, but it was time to get down to brass tacks and ask about all the problems and complaints people have about the club.
People talk about it being an eyesore and say the building's not right pretty. What are your opinions on that?
The building's very horrible, isn't it? It's from the outside, it really does look incredibly horrible.
It looks like it was built in World War II, but I agree with you. The council, when we approached them originally to do it, they wouldn't allow the access on the pavement, but then we also approached the landlord and they told us that we weren't allowed to touch the front of the building.
We're in a constant battle with the landlord to try and improve the building and make it look nicer, make it look like it should be rather than what it is.
One thing that people mention about the bouncers, sometimes being overly violent.
Do you know,
what are your thoughts?
Do you know, I'm sure back in the day, back in the 60s, 70s and 80s, that was probably the case in most nightclubs. Yeah. Obviously, this place has never closed. It's still kept that reputation. You're in here tonight, you can see you're not sticking to this carpet. It's actually a new carpet. But if you talk to anybody now, they will still tell you, you stick to the carpet.
You get sucked up for. You get sucked up for.
And they'll also tell you that it's either full of kids, full of old people, and you get thrown down the steps.
Connor last week, unfortunately, he went for his first down steps.
But I think if you look at history, you realise it doesn't happen. Perhaps it's never ever happened. But since I've been here, no.
There's been a few instances where people have been drunk and, you know, they've slipped on the stairs. And often when they've seen the videotape or obviously CCTV afterwards, then they realise that they haven't been.
Help me! Hurry up, you wimp!
I think you'll find that the doormen here are quite helpful, they're quite friendly. I mean, they're firm, but you'll see tonight if you're filming, they're a nice bunch of guys.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
You know, we ripped our carpet up and we sold it for charity. We raised £5,000 for the Street Angels, and yet we were still getting grief about the carpet, and to the day we still do.
We're hoping to raise a few £100. We got to thousands.
We had people contacting us from as far away as Australia, saying it hit the Australian news.
And Britain's oldest nightclub, famous for its cheap drinks and sticky carpet, has turned its renos into a charity drive. The Acapulco in Halifax, sounds classy, is selling off squares of its vintage flooring to punters to raise money for Street Angels, a group who looks out for young drinkers.
Some people love it, some people hate it, but luckily the ones that love it really do love it. It feels like a family. The staff feel like family, everybody fits in, everybody gets on.
When I come on a night out here, I'm the first one on the dance floor every time, no matter what. No matter what. If I'm working, I'm on the dance floor. If I'm not working, I'm on the dance floor without anything.
When there's a lot of people at the bar and someone orders 5 cocktails plus shots, it can get a bit stressful, but you just gotta keep your cool.
It is very much like what nightclubs used to be, where you come and have fun and wake up cuddling a kebab.
So many clubs now are hung up on what tune they're playing, what name DJ they've got, but we're more into doing the silly things in life.
Having fun is just as cool as trying to be cool.
Honestly, if you want a place to be, it is here. I'm not saying it because I work here, like literally, it's like, you would never find anything more entertaining, yet more natural.
Be prepared to let your hair down, put on a silly hat or a t-shirt if we throw it out. Just be yourself, just go crazy, be a teenager and enjoy life.
The night had finally arrived. My first night back in the Acapulco in years. Was I going to get thrown down the stairs by sadistic bouncers? Was the phantom shitter going to make a guest appearance? It was time to find out.
When you're 18, you've got to come after for your first weekend. We're from Halifax, so it's tradition.
My name is Morgan. Brooke. And today we are here to get pissed. We're getting steaming.
We've had some such good nights here, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week. It's absolutely mint.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night. Welcome to the weekend!
What keeps bringing you back?
The birds.
The bird.
Accra is just full of birds.
If you want a bit of easy meat at night, you come here.
Get yourself a
like Chinese buffet. All you can eat. All you can eat.
How would you describe Acapulco to someone who's
Sweaty. Oh, fucking sweaty. Yeah, it's a bit warm in there. You should get some air conditioning. It's a bit warm. Yeah, it's you've got all them sweaty little gurners trying to dance with you, and you're like, no, thank you, no, thank you, please.
Yeah, he was shaking a bird round back of Acca, and I shook the car up, and he lost his stiffy and shouldn't have it then. I did. I pulled, did what I can do, and he f***ed it up for me. My great uncle is 86. He told me that when he used to come, it was more of a classy place, believe it or not.
And now you're just shagging beers behind it?
That's it. We've brought
behind
the it, in front of it, alleyways, everywhere, in corner, mate. Behind, anywhere.
But it wasn't all just youngsters trading STIs in alleyways. There was actually a lot of older people in the Acca too.
When did you work here?
1991, and I worked here for 7 years.
Do you still come often or?
No, this is the first time in 25 years.
It'd be nice to be back after such a long time.
Still got the same music as what it had when I worked here.
My mum's here tonight.
Yeah.
My mum's here tonight, and she's downstairs dancing right.
Like,
Song
it's
about
all
it.
this nightclub in Britain, like you can't not go. It's an experience.
Love really hurts without you.
If you're in Acca, then you've got to see Raymond because he's a lovely guy and he'll buy you a VK. Come on, just flirt with him.
Like Acca and him go hand in hand.
This is Raymond. This is the longest customer at Acca.
How long have you been coming to Acca for?
1983. Kids from uni. They said, well, we got a Discord in wherever at uni. And they said, look, it's nowhere like Acca. They said, it's nowhere like this where we're not drinking champagne. I'm a champagne Charlie.
was actually having a good night so far. I'm surprised I hadn't seen anyone get kicked down the stairs yet. So I had a word with DJ Danny Kavanagh in the smoking area to ask him about it.
It is a very interesting question, and it does get brought up quite a lot, and there is a stigma about that, but the reality of it is actually a little bit different. It's not as bad as what people make it out to be. You have to bear in mind the nightclub's been open for, well, since the 1960s, and it's gone through so many transitions, and I've been here for 6 years, and on a Friday and a Saturday night, I don't see that kind of trouble. If you want to judge the Acapulco, you have to come down here and witness it for yourself, because it really is an experience. It's like being at Butlins, but tenfold. It's all about entertainment. So we're on that balcony, as you've probably seen earlier on tonight. So there's myself, my colleague who's with me tonight, Dan. It's not just about us, it's about the people that come in as well. So we get so many people from all different backgrounds. It's like a safe haven to let your hair down, have a good night, really enjoy yourself. Nothing's taken too seriously.
Oh no, no! What do you think Halifax would be like if you didn't have Acapulco?
Shit. Absolutely shit. But people come here just because they get the cheap drinks at the start and it makes the night.
The legend of the Phantom Shifter.
I've seen people get thinking on the dance floor. I've never seen them get fucking had a shit.
Hey,
This is today.
how's it going?
It's going great.
You heard about the Phantom Shifter?
Hey, don't touch the camera. Don't touch the camera. No. So you perving me on Facebook?
Are you going to add me?
How dare you? How dare I'll add you on Facebook.
Add me. Say that again.
How will you describe the Acapulco to somebody who's never been before?
Well, it's full of people.
Is that it?
Remember, kids, don't do drugs.
High five you. Does it matter what age you are?
It doesn't matter what age you are at all.
How old am I?
You're older than my mother. What was it like? What was it like when dinosaurs ruled the earth?
Why is it being horrible to me? There's no need for that. No. Have you had a nice night?
Having a great night.
Have you? What have you been doing?
You're walking around chatting shit to people, to be
apart from me,
honest.
Kieran's mum.
Yeah, I like
Kieran's
it.
mum. Got it going on.
It's been a good night so far. This is my little den where I'm transferring all my footage. It's nice to be back here. It's bringing back a lot of memories, to be honest. It's probably even more fun than I remember. Everyone's still here and it's like 1 AM now and it's still going off.
We've come a long, long way together through the hard times.
I couldn't believe how much of a vibe it was in the Aca. After all these years, it seemed to have got even better. Everyone was just buzzing and happy to be there.
You haven't been to a nightclub until you've been to Aca.
We're the reason why people don't turn up for work in the morning. We're the reason why people's mums and dads have met on the dance floor. We're the reasons why your grandma's got a dodgy hip. And for such a small town in the middle of West Yorkshire, it really is an institution in itself.
Peace out, bitch! Peace out! We need 6 on top!
I'll die a happy man. knowing that I took a shit in the oldest and the greatest club the UK has ever seen.
If the Acca shut down, how would you feel?
Devastated. Halifax, there'd be no point in even being around here.
I'd move away.
As the town changes, we have to change and we have to alter and we have to try and keep up. I think Acca will always have a place in Halifax, whether it be within the town centre or within people's hearts.
Future plans for the Phantom Shitter, building up to doing the highest public shit in Calderdale. That bit Warehouse Tower, looking over the beautiful valleys, looking over Sorby Bridge, and I can see as far as Huddersfield from up there. I feel like it'd be quite a nostalgic moment.
It'd be nice for it to continue going for a few more years. It'd be nice to get to its 70th birthday, I think.
You might think the Acapulco is a shithole, and you may be right. But the thing is, it's our shithole. Now then, hope you enjoyed the video. If you had a good time, feel free to leave me a like, comment, subscribe. If you want more, head over to Patreon now. We've got Phantom Shitter bloopers, a few more interviews that didn't make it into the edit, and you can support me by chucking me a few quid. I'm in Thailand now, so I've got plenty more videos planned, so I'll see you on next one.